Hi, my name is Dr. Deb Crislip Baker, and I'm a professor in the Learning Strategies Department at Victoria College. I'm here today to give you some tips and strategies on how to complete the essay portion of the TSIA 2 assessment for college readiness. Victoria College's Total Learning Center presents Dr. Deb Explains, Writing an Essay for the TSIA 2. Welcome back. Today's video explains the steps you should take when writing the essay portion of the Texas Success Initiative 2, or TSIA 2. The prompts for these essays are what do you think type questions, as you are not expected to provide any research or evidence beyond your own experiences and observations. Therefore, you should just state your opinion and support that opinion in a well-organized, multi-paragraph essay of about 300 to 600 words. Some sample prompts include items such as, are we free to make our own decisions, or are we limited in the choices we can make? Is it better to have one good friend or a lot of acquaintances in your life? And you would just choose one of these sides and then support and give your explanation of why you believe as you do. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to set up the essay, how to get started with the essay, and some general good tips and strategies to use when you sit down to take this exam. So for today's prompt, we are looking at the most valuable skills students need to be successful in school. So I want to get started with that topic. And I want you to notice that I don't immediately start writing. I want to get my ideas and my thoughts down on paper first before I start writing. Because if I start writing, it's going to be unorganized and I'm just going to be all over the place. So part of doing a successful essay and proving that you are college ready is doing it in an organized manner. And that involves planning it before you start writing it. The planning doesn't have to be in depth. You can do this very quickly, but you just have to take a little bit of time to plan it out and think about what you're going to write about before you actually start writing. So we want a multi-paragraph essay. So I need at least 2 or 3 items here that I think are the most valuable skills that students need to be successful. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to think about those items that I want to write about. So I have the 2 items. I have time management and a willingness to ask for help. Now at this point, I'm going to stop and I'm going to actually write the introduction to my essay because this is all I actually need in order to do that part of the project or the assignment. So if you're working along with me, go ahead and pause the video right now and think about what 2 items you're going to write about and put those on paper, and then you can start the video again. I'll show you how to write the introduction and then you can add your own in as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brief moment and I'm going to label this as my introduction, because I don't want to forget that that's what that part is. So all I did in my introduction was I took the 2 items that I'm talking about, time management and a willingness to ask for help, and I put that into 2 sentences here. There are many skills students need for success in school, but 2 of the most important ones are time management and a willingness to ask for help when it's needed. If students have these 2 skills, they can be successful in school and in life. And that's just a brief summary of what it is I'm going to be talking about so that my readers know the 2 items that I'm going to be speaking about. So I'm going to go ahead to the next step, which I like to do at the same time so that I don't forget it, is to write my conclusion. My conclusion is going to be very, very similar to my introduction. And what happens a lot of times is that students often write their whole entire paragraph. They get done with the second item and then they just stop and they forget that conclusion. You need to have your essay organized with an opening, a middle, and a closing. And that's your introduction, your 2 body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. So you don't want to forget those items. So that's why I like to do that here right after I write the introduction, because it's going to be very, very similar. So what I want you to do, if you're following along with me today, is I want you to pause the video and I want you to write your introduction, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you how I did my conclusion, and then you can write your own. Okay, so I have my conclusion done, and all I did was talk about my topic: success in school often leads to success in life, and if students have good time management skills and are willing to ask for help when they need it, then they can do anything in life and be successful at it. So these are my bookends for the essay: my introduction and my conclusion. So right now, go ahead and pause the video and write your conclusion to your essay, and then come back and we'll get that middle part knocked out. Okay, so you've written your introduction and your conclusion. Now the important thing to know is that this is going to be my first paragraph of my essay, and this is going to actually be my second, third, fourth paragraph in my essay. So when I go to type this up, I don't want to put introduction and then conclusion. I want to put my introduction, my second paragraph, my third paragraph, and then my conclusion. So because I wrote about these time management and a willingness to ask for help, this needs to be my second paragraph, and this needs to be my third paragraph, and I need to keep it in that same order when I talk about it in my conclusion and in my middle, so that everything is organized and it stays the same and consistent throughout my essay. So I'm going to write my second paragraph right here, but before I do, I need to know what it is I'm going to include in this paragraph. So I need to do some brainstorming about what I want to write about. And the reason I didn't do that before when I did my introduction paragraph is I didn't want to put those details into that introduction. So that's why I just do this brainstorming here of the 2 topics, and then I write my introduction and my conclusion, because I don't really know what I'm going to write about yet, other than the fact that I'm going to write about time management and a willingness to ask for help, and that those are important skills that students need. But now that I'm ready to expand on this paragraph and actually write it, I need to plan and prep what I'm going to say. So I'm going to take a few moments to brainstorm my time management paragraph. Okay, so in my brainstorming, I've thought of at least 4 things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about how time management helps get assignments done on time, and how doing them later, turning them in late, is not good. And that you need to have time to do good quality, to check over and make sure everything is correct and you're not just slopping something down. You need time to learn and study, as well as to complete the assignments, and that you have to make sure and budget in the time to do everything that's important and not prioritize one assignment or task over anything else. So I'm going to write this paragraph now on time management, and while I'm doing that, I want you to pause the video and I want you to brainstorm your information that's going into your second paragraph on the first item that you're going to be writing about. Okay, so when I wrote my time management paragraph, I made sure that I kept this portion available and out where I could see it, so that I could write about each one of these items as I did it. Now, I do want to show you that I use transitional words, such as first. That shows that this is my first topic that I'm writing about, and that this is the first thing I am going to write about. However, I also use transitional words throughout this paragraph to transition from one idea to the next. For example, I used next, when I was going to learn and study. And finally, before I talked about all of the important things. Again, like I mentioned before, it's important that we are bookending or having an opening, a middle, and a closing to all of our work and paragraphs. So I have one of the most valuable skills that students must have is time management. That's my opening. And then my closing down here, having good time management skills is important so everything gets done well and on time is my closing. So I have my opening and I have my closing, and then this is my middle where I'm talking about everything in there. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video and go ahead and write your second paragraph based on what you brainstormed. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to write my second paragraph. So I brainstormed what I think about for my willingness to ask for help. So I'm going to get ready to write the third paragraph of my essay, which is my second topic, a willingness to ask for help. So I quickly jotted down some things that I want to write about in this paragraph, and then I'm actually going to write that paragraph. So as I'm doing that, I want you to pause the video and I want you to brainstorm for your second topic, which is going to be the third paragraph in your essay. Okay, so I kept this portion visible, my brainstorming, as I was writing my second paragraph. And again, I tried to use some transitional words. So I have the second skill to show my reader that I'm talking about the second item. And I also used however, and then however again here, and after all. So I have however twice right here. So as I'm typing this later, I may want to change that so that I don't have that many words that are the same together. And I also have therefore down here as a transitional word. The other thing that I've done, again, is I have my opening sentence right here, is a willingness to ask for help, which is what my topic is about. And also down here at the end, asking for help is vital to a student's success in school, to remind my reader. So I have my opening, I have my middle, and I have my closing. So if you're following along with me today, go ahead and pause the video and write your last paragraph of your essay, and then come back and we will finish this up with how to end it and do a great job. Okay, so I did some quick calculations and I have about 340 words in this essay, which is good. It needs to be between 300 and 600. So I could definitely stand to pad it a little bit more and add a little bit more, but I know that I've definitely met the requirement here. And the most important thing is I have an introduction, I have my second and third paragraphs about what I'm writing about, and then I have a conclusion. And each one of my paragraphs has an opening sentence, a middle, and a concluding sentence, as well as transitional words. So those are going to show that I have good organization and I've done everything that I've needed to do in order to prepare my rough draft of this essay. Okay, so now that you've written your rough draft, what you want to do is you want to use that rough draft and you want to type your essay into the actual computer and the testing environment. So don't start over again. Don't put that draft to the side and then just start typing something new. Use what you've already written and start typing it. But when you do that, make sure that you're using good sentence structure, you're correcting your spelling, and you are writing in academic language. So you want to make sure that you're not using I and you're not using you. So as you're typing it, if you come across those words like I think or I believe, just take those out and then just say what you think without saying I think or I believe. You also don't want to use the word you. You want to keep it very academic third person, so use students, one, him, her, things like that. Okay, so don't talk directly and say you should to your reader. You want to be academic and remove that person from it and just have it in third person. So those are some great tips for how to be successful on your Texas Success Initiative assessment on the essay portion. And you can review this essay anytime that you need to. I hope you do an excellent job, and I'm sure you will if you follow these tips. Just make sure you're organized, you plan it out, and that you follow the directions for the prompt and have a beginning, a middle, and an end on every paragraph and for your essay.